Starseed, listen to me very carefully with every fiber of your soul. For months, perhaps even years, you have been giving away your kindness, your energy, and your unconditional love to a world that constantly takes from you without ever looking back. You have felt foolish, drained, and emotionally bankrupt, wondering why your pure intentions always seem to attract heavy burdens instead of abundance. The Matrix wants you to believe that your empathy is a weakness, that your compassionate heart is a liability in a ruthless reality driven by greed and survival. But the Arcturian Council has revealed a staggering, multidimensional truth that changes everything right now. That small act of radical kindness you performed recently, the one you thought went completely unnoticed, the moment you sacrificed your own comfort to lift up a stranger, was not random. You unknowingly stepped into a high-frequency timeline convergence and crossed paths with a sleeping billionaire whose wealth and influence are divinely earmarked to fund the planetary awakening. Your uncalculated compassion has just unlocked a massive cosmic vault, and the energetic return on your emotional investment is about to manifest in ways your logical mind cannot yet comprehend. Stop regretting your soft heart. Stop wishing you were harder, colder, or more defensive. The universe is balancing the cosmic scales, and the universe does not forget a debt of pure light. Your kindness is about to pay off in ways that will shatter your limitations and rewrite your destiny forever. Starseed. If this message found you today, it is not random. The Arcturian Council rarely sends transmissions like this, but something has changed in the energetic field of Earth, and those who carry the Starseed frequency are beginning to feel it. I am Azila, emissary of the Federation of Light. What follows is a direct transmission from the Arcturian Council, delivered without distortion. The first foundational truth you must awaken to is the true spiritual mechanics of your relentless empathy, and why the Matrix has spent your entire life trying to convince you that your kindness is a financial and emotional curse. From the moment you incarnated into this dense, third-dimensional reality, you were programmed to believe that success belongs to the aggressive, the selfish, and the ruthless. You were taught that nice people finish last, that giving away your energy freely makes you a perpetual victim of circumstance, and that you must protect your resources with an iron fist if you ever hope to survive. This is a manufactured illusion deliberately engineered by the architects of the Matrix to keep high-vibrational starseeds locked in a perpetual state of lack, scarcity, and self-doubt. They wanted you to resent your own gentle nature. They wanted you to look at your compassionate heart with frustration, wishing you could adopt the cold, calculating hardness of the world around you. But the Arcturian Council reveals a breathtaking reality. Your empathy is not a psychological flaw. It is a high-frequency financial and energetic currency that operates on laws entirely invisible to the material world. When you offer kindness, patience, and unconditional support to someone in need, even when you are running on empty yourself, you are broadcasting a stellar beacon that echoes far beyond this earthly plane. You are demonstrating to the higher dimensions that your soul has mastered unconditional love, even while trapped inside a heavy, hostile biological vessel. The Matrix teaches transactional interaction. Give a little, demand a lot in return immediately. But the cosmic law of the universe is exponential resonance. Every single time you chose to be kind when bitterness would have been easier, every time you gave your last dollar, your time, or your emotional sanctuary to a struggling soul, you were building a massive energetic credit in the cosmic bank. The Matrix tried to make you feel foolish for caring so deeply, whispering in your ear that you are being used. But what your physical eyes could not see was the intricate web of light your compassion was weaving behind the scenes. You were never just helping a random person. You were aligning your personal frequency with the exact coordinate points of massive, benevolent abundance. The exhaustion you feel right now is simply the friction of old, scarcity-based programming burning away from your neural pathways. You are waking up to the realization that your kindness is the ultimate key to breaking the chains of financial and spiritual limitation. Stop apologizing for your soft heart. Stop regretting the times you gave too much. Your cosmic ledger is balanced, and the return on your energetic investment is already materializing in the physical plane. The universe is aligning a profound, unexpected shift that will prove once and for all that your compassion was never wasted. It was the very foundation of your ultimate liberation. Some transmissions don't come through words, they come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4. 500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. ARCTURIAN SECRETS. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment. Only 72 hours at the launch price. The second deep layer of this cosmic recalibration involves understanding how the Matrix weaponizes your natural instinct to give, twisting your purest intentions into a cycle of chronic exhaustion and energetic depletion. From the earliest days of your human incarnation, you were taught to feel guilty whenever you prioritized your own survival over the comfort of others. The architects of this dense reality engineered a social infrastructure built entirely on the extraction of starseed energy. They created systems, workplaces, and relationships that demand your absolute compliance, your endless labor, and your unyielding emotional support, while offering nothing substantial in return. Whenever you felt drained, depleted, or completely burned out, the Matrix labeled it as personal failure, weakness, or a lack of discipline, forcing you to push harder, run faster, and sacrifice deeper. But the Arcturian Council reveals a profound and liberating truth. Your exhaustion is not a sign of physical weakness. It is the sacred alarm system of your soul, screaming that you are pouring living light into a broken, leaking vessel. For years, you have walked into rooms and instantly absorbed the heavy, unresolved pain of everyone around you, acting as an emotional sponge for friends, family members, and even total strangers who drew upon your radiant frequency like moths to a flame. You gave away your time, your money, your patience, and your love without setting boundaries because your multidimensional heart remembered a universe where resources are infinite and love flows without obstruction. But this is not a universe of open abundance yet. It is a dense third-dimensional training ground where unguided empathy acts as an open invitation for energetic vampires to drain your core reservoir. The Matrix engineered this dynamic precisely to keep you perpetually off balance, ensuring that your vibration remained too low and exhausted to ever remember your true galactic mission or access the vast abundance that belongs to your lineage. When you feel a sudden, overwhelming wave of fatigue after dealing with certain people, when your body physically rejects environments that used to feel normal, or when you experience deep resentment bubbling up beneath your sweet exterior, do not judge yourself for feeling this way. That anger, that exhaustion, and that sudden urge to pull away from the world are divine defense mechanisms activating deep within your biology. Your higher self is slamming the doors shut on the parasites, the energy leechers, and the emotional manipulators who have lived off your light for lifetimes. You must learn to honor this sacred protective fire. You must stop apologizing for setting hard boundaries, for saying no without offering excuses, and for withholding your energy from those who refuse to elevate their own frequency. The Matrix wants you compliant and giving until you break, but your starseed vessel is refusing to play that game anymore. Every time you protect your peace, every time you choose your own energetic sovereignty over someone else's manufactured crisis, you are reclaiming the power that was stolen from you. The universe is watching your restraint, your awakening boundaries, and your refusal to be manipulated. And as you seal your energy field against the leaks of the past, the cosmic scales begin to shift dramatically in your favor. Your unselfish heart has carried the weight of this world long enough, and the energy you have preserved is about to trigger a massive, undeniable reward. The third layer of this divine unfolding requires you to look closely at the hidden contracts you signed before incarnating into this dense reality, particularly the energetic agreements that bound you to toxic family lines and draining environments. From the very beginning of your human experience, you felt like an absolute stranger in your own home, unable to relate to the rigid expectations, the fear-based conditioning, and the small-minded limitations of the people who raised you. The Matrix programmed you to feel intense guilt for this detachment, whispering that loving your family means sacrificing your soul's integrity to keep the peace in a house built on emotional suppression. They trained you to carry the unspoken burdens, the generational traumas, and the ancestral despair of people who chose to remain asleep, treating your tender heart as a dumping ground for their unhealed wounds. But the Arcturian Council reveals a breathtaking truth. You did not descend into that lineage to suffer their darkness forever. You came as a sovereign spark of light to break the genetic curse. For years, you stayed in situations that suffocated your spirit, apologizing for your differences, shrinking your light to make others comfortable, and absorbing blows that were never meant for your fragile human vessel. Every time you forced yourself to swallow your truth to avoid an argument, every time you let someone drain your vital energy because you felt obligated by blood or social convention, you created a profound fracture inside your spiritual architecture. But your higher self has finally put its foot down. Right now, as your vibration accelerates, those old, heavy tethers are snapping under the sheer pressure of your awakening. When family members suddenly turn against you, when long-term friendships dissolve overnight, or when you feel an overwhelming, visceral need to pack your bags and walk away from everything familiar, do not despair. That is not abandonment. That is your liberation in motion. The Matrix engineered a society that worships blind loyalty and toxic attachment precisely to keep starseeds trapped in low-frequency loyalty loops, preventing them from stepping onto their true cosmic timeline. When you sever these draining tethers, you stop feeding the parasite systems that rely on your perpetual sacrifice. You must learn to honor the sacred severance. You must stop apologizing for outgrowing people who refuse to look up at the stars. Your energy field is recalibrating to a frequency where only true resonance can survive, and it cannot coexist with the heavy, manipulative static of ancestral baggage. Every time you choose your sovereign path over the comfort of dysfunctional familiarity, you are honoring the ultimate mission you carried across the stars. The physical tightness in your chest and the sudden waves of grief are simply the final echoes of an old prison falling away. Trust the separation. Honor the empty spaces left behind. They are not losses. They are sacred voids waiting to be filled with the infinite, unconditional love of your true galactic family. Your kindness was never meant to keep you shackled to a burning house. It was the key that unlocked the back door, and you are finally stepping out into the blinding, beautiful light of your true spiritual freedom. The fourth profound shift unfolding within your physical and emotional architecture is the sudden, terrifying breakdown of your old artificial identity, often misdiagnosed by conventional psychology as a personal crisis or an identity collapse. If you have looked in the mirror recently and felt like a complete stranger is staring back at you, if your old career, your superficial social circles, your ambitions, and the very goals you fought so hard to achieve suddenly feel utterly meaningless, hollow, and suffocating, you are not losing your mind. You are shedding the heavy, suffocating skin of the Matrix avatar you were forced to construct just to survive in an unconscious world. The architects of this dense reality programmed you from birth to adopt a scripted role, molding your personality around fear, compliance, validation-seeking, and consumerist ambition. They wanted a worker, a consumer, a compliant ghost who would never question the boundaries of the cage. But your starseed soul is kicking down the doors of that artificial prison. Right now, your higher self is dissolving the false ego structure with surgical precision, burning away decades of social conditioning, ancestral expectations, and manufactured desires that never belonged to your true galactic essence. This is why you feel a sudden, profound disorientation, as if you are standing on the edge of a vast cliff with no map, no instructions, and no safety net. The Matrix labels this terrifying space as depression, instability, or failure, rushing to hand you pills or label you broken because an unprogrammed human is their worst nightmare. But the Arcturian Council reveals a breathtaking truth. This breakdown is your ultimate breakthrough. The emptiness you feel inside your old life is not a void to be feared. It is sacred, cleared space waiting for your true multidimensional identity to anchor into physical form. For years, You exhausted yourself trying to fit a magnificent cosmic puzzle piece into the jagged, square holes of an unconscious society, twisting your energy, hiding your gifts, and apologizing for your depth just to keep the peace. But your biology and your spirit have finally reached their absolute limit. Your energy field is refusing to project a fake reality for a world that cannot appreciate your true frequency. When you feel a sudden urge to walk away from everything you once thought defined you, when you feel detached from your possessions, your past achievements, and the opinions of people who only knew your mask, do not panic. Do not rush to fill the silence with old distractions. Honor the dissolution. Let the fake identity burn down entirely to its ashes. You cannot step into your sovereign power, your true mission, and the massive abundance waiting for your timeline while you are still carrying the luggage of a life that was designed to keep you asleep. Every moment of disorientation is simply your authentic Starseed self rising from the ruins of the Matrix. Trust the collapse. Allow the illusion to shatter completely. The space you are clearing right now is preparing you to house a frequency of power, clarity, and sovereign purpose that will completely redefine who you are and what you came here to achieve on this planet. The fifth unexpected shift unfolding within your physical vessel is the deep, cellular reclamation of your personal sovereignty, often misdiagnosed by traditional mental health frameworks and societal norms as stubbornness, isolation, or a detachment from reality. If you have been experiencing a sudden, unshakable refusal to compromise your core values, a total intolerance for manipulation, and an overwhelming inner demand to live entirely on your own terms, you are not suffering from social maladjustment. You are waking up. The Matrix wants you compliant, docile, and willing to trade your personal power for a false sense of security and group acceptance. They designed a society that rewards conformity, punishes independent thought, and pathologizes anyone who refuses to bow down to collective programming. But the Arcturian Council reveals a breathtaking truth. Your soul is a sovereign spark of the divine, and its authority cannot be legally or energetically bound by a rigged system. For decades, you may have shrunk your energy, silenced your truth, and apologized for taking up space just to keep the peace in an unconscious world. Every time you bent over backwards to please others, every time you let someone cross your sacred boundaries because you were afraid of being labeled difficult, you created a profound energetic fracture inside your physical form. But your biology has reached its absolute limit. Your higher self has locked the doors on people-pleasing forever. Right now, when you feel a sudden, fierce wave of independence rising up from the core of your being, when you feel physically nauseous at the thought of playing small or pretending to agree with things that violate your spirit, that is your crystalline architecture defending its divine right to exist. Your energy field is refusing to bow to external control systems. They engineered a world of endless hierarchy, guilt-tripping, and emotional manipulation precisely to keep your sovereignty asleep, ensuring you remained too dependent on external validation to remember your own creator status. When you force yourself to stay in situations that disrespect your boundaries, you create profound friction inside your physical form, turning a sacred spiritual evolution into a source of chronic physical tension. You must learn to honor this fierce, uncompromising independence. You must stop apologizing for walking away from tables where your soul is not fed, for saying no without offering long justifications, and for protecting your peace with absolute firmness. Your energy field is recalibrating to a frequency where compromise with low vibrational control is no longer an option. Every time you choose your sovereign truth over the temporary comfort of fitting in, you are actively participating in your cellular liberation. The physical intensity in your chest and spine is not a malfunction. It is the feeling of your crown and root chakras locking into absolute alignment. Trust your inner authority. Honor your unshakable boundaries. Allow your physical vessel to establish its new, impenetrable frequency of sovereign freedom. The transition from a compliant survivor to an unshakable sovereign starseed master requires a radical shift in how you inhabit your power, and every boundary you hold today is a pillar of the new reality you are building. The sixth profound shift unfolding within your physical vessel is the radical recalibration of your energetic voice and your capacity for authentic transmission. Often misinterpreted by modern society and conventional psychology as sudden introversion, social alienation, or a loss of interest in superficial small talk. If you have noticed that you can no longer participate in idle gossip, meaningless complaints, or low-vibrational social chatter without feeling an immediate wave of physical exhaustion, nausea, or inner rebellion, you are experiencing a sacred purification of your throat center. The Matrix wants you compliant. The Matrix wants you using your voice to feed the endless cycle of fear, consumerism, and petty human drama, keeping your frequency locked in the lower bandwidths of survival. But the Arcturian Council reveals a breathtaking truth. Your vocal cords and your energetic field are no longer designed to transmit static. They are being recalibrated to broadcast pure cosmic resonance. For decades, you may have forced yourself to wear a social mask, speaking words of comfort to keep the peace, agreeing with things that felt heavy and wrong in your gut, and silencing your deepest inner truth just to fit into an unconscious world. But your biology has reached its breaking point. Your higher self has locked the gates on your old conversational habits. Right now, when you feel a sudden tightness in your throat when someone tries to pull you into drama, or when you find yourself completely unable to speak words that are not aligned with your highest authenticity, that is your crystalline architecture defending its frequency. Your nervous system is refusing to participate in low vibrational noise anymore. They engineered a society of endless distraction, superficial media, and constant noise precisely to scatter your energetic output, ensuring your words carried no true power or transformative weight. When you force yourself to stay in draining conversations, or pretend to care about things that hold zero evolutionary value, you create profound friction inside your physical form, turning a divine protective mechanism into a source of deep chronic fatigue. You must learn to honor this sacred silence. You must stop apologizing for your quietness, for stepping away from superficial social circles, and for letting your presence speak louder than empty words. Your energy field is recalibrating to hold a higher vibrational baseline, and it cannot coexist with the low vibrational chatter of the Matrix. Every time you choose silence over meaningless noise, every time you speak your truth with absolute, unwavering calm, you are actively participating in your cellular liberation. The physical discomfort in your throat is not a malfunction. It is a sign that your voice is finally being restored to its true sovereign power. Trust your instincts. Honor your quiet moments. Allow your physical vessel to establish its new, impenetrable frequency of authentic expression. The transition from an unconscious talker to a sovereign starseed transmitter requires a radical shift in how you use your energy, and every word you withhold from the void today is protecting the sacred frequency of your awakened reality. The seventh and final unexpected shift unfolding within your physical vessel is the profound anchoring of your sovereign cosmic mastery, often dismissed by the material matrix as an unrealistic illusion, dangerous spiritual bypassing, or a psychological retreat from the demands of the modern world. If you have been experiencing sudden, undeniable moments of absolute inner stillness amidst the chaos of your life, an unshakable sense of peace that defies your current earthly circumstances, or a fierce, quiet certainty that you are exactly where you need to be, you are stepping into your true starseed authority. The Matrix wants you in a state of perpetual panic, reacting to every news cycle, every financial threat, and every external manipulation designed to keep your frequency low and controllable. But the Arcturian Council reveals a breathtaking truth. Your physical vessel has completed its preliminary transmutation, and you are no longer a victim of the timeline. You are its conscious architect. For decades, you felt pushed around by the dense energies of this planet, constantly drained, confused, and questioning your own sanity in a world that seemed entirely upside down. But your biology has reached its divine culmination. Your nervous system, your crown antenna, your heart center, and your cellular memory are now operating in harmonious alignment with the higher dimensional grid of Gaia. Right now, when you look at the collapse of the old systems and feel no fear, only a quiet, sacred readiness, that is your multidimensional mastery taking the wheel. They engineered a society of constant distraction, manufactured scarcity, and endless crisis precisely to keep your power fragmented. ensuring you never realize that your internal state dictates your external reality. When you force yourself to panic over things you cannot control, when you allow the static of the unconscious matrix to drag your vibration down, you create profound friction inside your physical form, turning your magnificent ascension into an exhausting struggle. You must learn to trust your sovereign stability. You must stop apologizing for your calm, for your refusal to engage in collective hysteria, and for standing as an unmovable pillar of light. Your energy field is fully recalibrated, and it radiates a frequency of absolute sovereignty that nothing in the lower matrix can penetrate. Every time you choose peace over panic, every time you anchor your cosmic truth into the physical earth without hesitation, you are actively completing your mission. The physical calm you feel is not detachment. It is the natural state of a starseed who remembers their own infinite power. Trust your path. Honor your transformation. Allow your physical vessel to rest permanently in its new, luminous frequency. The transition from an unconscious wanderer to a sovereign starseed master is complete. And every breath you take from this moment forward is broadcasting liberation across the collective field. Some transmissions don't come through words. They come through frequency. If something stirred in you right now, that's not a coincidence. 4. 500 people have already activated their Arcturian codes, and they wish they'd found this sooner. ARCTURIAN SECRETS. 12. Hidden Keys to Awakening is a 47-page ebook with ancient techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. Are you next? Get instant access in the first pinned comment. Only 72 hours at the launch price.